है सर?
अरे नया इशू आया है, ग्राफिक्स के ऊपर काफ़ी मटेरियल है, मैंने सोचा तुम्हारे काम आ जाएगा। तुम्हें पता है आज मैं बहुत खुश हूँ। जो मैं प्रेजेंटेशन बना रहा था ना क्लाइंट के लिए,
जी सर।
भाई साहब बहुत बढ़िया बनी है। मैंने अपनी तरफ से बहुत मेहनत करी। हाँ लेकिन मैं सोच रहा हूँ यार तुम इसको देखो एक बार, थोड़ा सा चेक करो और अपना ओपिनियन दो।
यस।
मैंने तो सारे प्रोडक्ट की डिटेलिंग अच्छे से कर दी है, एक भी चीज़ नहीं छोड़ी। और तुम्हें पता है एक भी प्रोडक्ट पे क्लाइंट का दिल आ गया ना तो समझो सिलसिला शुरू। यहाँ पर इसका लोगो हम बड़ा कर सकते हैं।
इससे तो और भी अच्छा इम्प्रेसिव हो जाएगा सर।
चलो कर दो इसको। हाँ परफेक्ट, अब ठीक है।
हाँ सर, प्रेजेंटेशन बहुत अच्छा है और मेरा टाइम हो गया, मैं चलती हूँ।
अरे तुम्हें बहुत जल्दी रहती है। एनीवे यू कैन लीव, लेकिन ध्यान रखना कल शाम को 5 बजे हमारी प्रेजेंटेशन है और हमें 5 स्टार होटल में जाना है।
सर मैं वहाँ क्या करूँगी? ना तो मुझे प्रोडक्ट के बारे में कुछ पता है, ना मुझे प्रेजेंटेशन करना आता है।
अरे तुम्हें तभी तो मैं रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ, कुछ सोच के ही तो बोला होगा।
सर आप रिक्वेस्ट क्यों कर रहे हो? आप तो मेरे बॉस हैं, आप ऑर्डर दीजिए।
तुम समझदार हो, तभी तो मैं चाहता हूँ जब मैं वहाँ प्रेजेंटेशन दूँ तो कोई तुम्हारे जैसा मेरे साथ हो। देखो शोभा, मैं भी टाइम से घर पहुँचना चाहता हूँ, लेकिन लाइफ में आगे बढ़ने के लिए कुछ एक्स्ट्रा करना पड़ता है। तुम हार्ड वर्किंग हो, सिंसियर हो, और हाँ नेक्स्ट मंथ तुम्हारा अप्रेजल भी है, ध्यान रखना।
तब देख लेंगे सर।
देखो तुम मेरे साथ कोऑपरेट करो, मैं भी तुम्हारे साथ कोऑपरेट करूंगा। लाइफ इज गिव एंड टेक, ठीक है?
You have seen it. You know what is happening between Shobha and her boss Pulkit. Did you find anything wrong in it? Okay, you may have your own perspective. Maybe you are thinking that what Pulkit is doing is really wrong. But Pulkit here does not feel that he did anything wrong.
देखिए कुछ मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग हुई है। शोभा तो मेरे बच्चे की तरह है और मेरे सामने उसने एज ए अप्रेंटिस ज्वाइन किया था और अपने अच्छे काम की वजह से वो परमानेंट भी हो गई। देखो वो जूनियर है और हम सीनियर ही जूनियर को ट्रेन करते हैं, और हम नहीं करेंगे तो कौन करेगा। और मैं खुद चाहता था उस दिन जिस दिन प्रेजेंटेशन थी वो मेरे साथ चले, आखिर वो भी कुछ सीखे, वो भी क्लाइंट से कैसे हैंडलिंग करनी है, कैसे उसका कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ना चाहिए ना। हाँ मैंने उसका कंधा जरूर थपथपाया था। मैंने तो हमेशा ही जूनियर को मोटिवेट किया है और हम जूनियर को तो हमेशा आगे बढ़ने की प्रेरणा देते हैं। मुझे तो समझ में नहीं आ रहा आखिर इशू क्या है।
And now, let us know what is Shobha's perspective.
मैं जूनियर हूँ इसका मतलब ये थोड़ी है कि आप मेरा हाथ पकड़ेंगे, मुझे छुएंगे। मैं इनसे पहले भी कई बार कह चुकी हूँ, इस बार तो इन्होंने हद ही कर दी। मेरे डेस्क पे एक नंगी पुंगी कवर पेज वाली मैगजीन ला के रख दी। क्या कहना चाहते हैं कि मैं अपनी कपड़े उतार दूँ? मैं ग्राफिक डिपार्टमेंट से हूँ या सेल डिपार्टमेंट से है, मैं अपनी जिम्मेदारी ऑफिस में रह के पूरी कर सकती हूँ। फिर ही मुझे 5 स्टार ले जाने के लिए क्यों प्रेशर डाल रहे हैं? क्या करना चाहते हैं मेरे साथ होटल में? आप देख रहे हैं ना।
This is just one instance of what is called as sexual harassment at workplace. And in this case, Shobha is a victim of sexual harassment at her workplace. Broadly speaking, it is defined as one or more acts of unwelcome behavior. This unwanted behavior can be direct or it can also be implied. Shobha is uncomfortable with Pulkit's advances, and this element of being uncomfortable is the defining feature of sexual harassment. Actually, sexual harassment can come in various ways. It can be visual, like ogling, staring, obscene magazines, posters or flyers. It can be verbal, like pressurizing someone to come for a date, crossing the professional boundaries, asking unwanted personal questions, lewd remarks, dirty or sexual jokes, or whistling.
हाँ डार्लिंग बोलो। अरे यार शॉपिंग के लिए, वो भी अंडरगारमेंट्स की। बेबी आई नो, देखो तुम्हें पता है 10 साल हो गए हैं। तुम्हें पता होना चाहिए मुझे क्या पसंद है। तुम्हें सब पता है, आई नो। गो फॉर पिंक बेबी। ठीक है, जाओ यार, पिंक जाओ ले लो। ठीक है, बाय।
It can also be in written form like love poems, love letters, obscene poems, obscene letters, cards or email, or unwanted messages at an inappropriate time on platforms like WhatsApp, etc. It can be an unwanted touch like violating personal space, inappropriate patting, grabbing, pinching, caressing, or kissing. It can be a display of power like using position to request for dates, asking for sexual favors, promising favors for sexual behavior, or threatening if sexual demands are not met.
तुम इस साथ डेट पे क्यों नहीं आ सकती? सोच ले तुझे नौकरी से निकलवा दूंगा।
It can be a brutal use of force, as in rape, or physical or sexual assault. The harasser leaves a very disturbing impact on the victim. We have seen that the victims of sexual harassment generally fear reporting the injustice done to them. Let's meet a member of a sexual harassment redressal committee.
The background dates back about 3 decades ago. The Rajasthan government had launched a women's development project, and Bhavri Devi was a Sathin working in that project. She attempted to thwart the marriage of a young baby girl, 9 months old, in her village. Consequently, the child was still married on a different day in the middle of the night, but the entire village came out against Bhavri Devi and her husband. She lost her livelihood and she was raped by 5 men belonging to the family of the girl whose marriage she had thwarted. Subsequently, she faced a lot of difficulty in filing an FIR, in getting herself examined medically, even in getting the magistrate's approval for the medical examination. This drew the attention of a lot of NGOs to the role of the employer in ensuring the protection of their lady employees. So, an NGO by the name of Vishaka then filed a PIL, and the guidelines that we see today, which have been converted into an act, are actually a result of the attempt of that NGO. The Vishaka guidelines actually focus on the role of the employer in ensuring protection of lady employees. So, the onus is on the employer, the onus to create a safe workspace, the onus to educate the lady employees about their rights, the onus to educate the male employees about what constitutes sexual harassment, so and to create a gender sensitive workplace. The act actually puts the onus on the employer to ensure a safe workspace. For this, he has to make sure that he creates and communicates a detailed policy on sexual harassment within his enterprise, and he has to make sure that there is awareness and orientation on this issue within his organization. He has to constitute a complaints committee. In every workplace, if there are more than 10 employees, there has to be an internal complaints committee to redress complaints of sexual harassment at the workplace.
Now, let's try to understand the psychological impact on the victim.
Sexual harassment has a deep psychological impact on the victim. The victim undergoes emotional turmoil, discomfort, and unpleasant feelings. She may suffer from different kinds of fears: fear of losing job, fear of being stigmatized, or fear of harm caused to self or loved ones by the perpetrator. As you just saw, Shobha was very softly threatened by her boss for bad appraisal if she doesn't turn out in the 5-star hotel next day. Often such kind of traumatization has an adverse impact on the performance, productivity, and efficiency of the victim. Sexual harassment at large impacts not just the victim, but also those who witness it in the surroundings as well. The impact of sexual harassment ranges from physical and psychological consequences to the socio-cultural impact, wider socio-cultural impact. It even impacts the place, workplace, the institute where this sexual harassment takes place in terms of dropouts, absenteeism, and loss of talent. At an individual level, the victim may have very many consequences in terms of physical, psychological, and professional consequences. Like physical consequences can be headache, tiredness, fatigue, gastric symptoms like acidity, nausea, heartburn. Then they also may have aches and pains. There may be crying spells. There may be also tightness of the jaw, or they may also experience teeth grinding. They may also have high blood pressure. Victims may also suffer psychologically, like stress, anxiety, panic attack, flashbacks, sadness, depression. There may also be traumatic stress. There may be sleep disturbances, there may be shame, there may be guilt and self-blame. These are very common feelings which are felt by many but are not often acknowledged. There may be also loss of motivation to take care of self, and also there may be relationship difficulties. The person may feel betrayed by the system or by whatever is happening and may feel violated. They also feel angry at what has happened to them. They may feel powerless. They may also have loss of self-confidence as well as self-esteem. That reduces a lot. Overall, loss of trust in people may be there, and they may withdraw and become socially isolated. The physical and psychological impacts, these effects, they result in negative professional growth. There may be decreased work performance because of these physical symptoms or psychological symptoms, and the person may absent from the duty, which may result in long leaves and loss of pay. Sometimes even the person is transferred from wherever the person is posted to some other place. There may also be loss of promotional opportunities. This is one of the reasons which is unacknowledged, which is unspoken, but this fear is also there. And there may be difficulties in a professional relationship with colleagues and seniors and juniors. Sometimes it may lead to quitting of the job, finally. It is not just the victim who suffers. Sexual harassment has an overall negative impact on the society. So we should take all the steps to fight this menace. The first, most crucial and essential step is to understand what constitutes the sexual harassment. What is sexual harassment? The next step is to communicate to the victim that this is sexual harassment. What she has suffered from is sexual harassment, and she should not blame herself. It is the perpetrator who has to be brought to the book. It can be useful to start by telling the harasser to stop. It's very important to confront the harasser and stop the behavior at the first instance itself and set clear boundaries, what is accepted and what is not. So for this, very simple statement is act, effect and change. But what is this statement? Act, effect and change. So by using this method, Anjali tackled the guy who was harassing her.
अरे अंजलि, तू तो चल रही है ना वैभव की पार्टी में?
नो आई एम नॉट कमिंग।
क्यों यार, तू डर रही है? मैं तुझे छोड़ दूंगा ना।
अशोक, ये क्या तरीका बात करने का? मैंने कितनी बार बोला है आपको कि मेरे को टच वच करके बात मत किया करो। ट्राई टू मेंटेन ऑफिस डेकोरम।
Now the question arises, and that is a very, very important question for all us to ponder over, is that why do victims suffer silently? What prevents them from reporting it? A victim can have many reasons for it. One of the reasons which is commonly cited is that there may be fear of retaliation from the harasser. Usually, the harasser is higher up in the hierarchy, maybe the boss, who can harm the person personally as well as professionally. Also, the victim may feel embarrassed, ashamed, or stigmatized to come forward and talk about it. And there is a very important, genuine concern that the victim may have is that nobody will take them seriously.
To stop this kind of harassment at the workplace, let us understand the legal aspects.
It's very important to call out such behavior right in the beginning, but even if the girl cannot do so, she should not be blamed, because after all, in most of these cases, she is in a vulnerable position. If she can call the guy's behavior out, it's very good. If she can't, I would strongly suggest that she confides in a friend or a colleague or a senior who can guide her and who can help her in actually filing a complaint. The punishment as defined by the Act is of various types. If it's a government institution, the punishment is actually governed by the CCS CCA rules of 1965.
So, we don't have to fear the harassers. It should be the other way around. We have the support of the law. So, let's join hands and tackle this menace.